Yeah, confirm you can see my screen, please. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so good evening. Welcome to the third class of the Android development track at the intermediate level. So today we're going to be looking at custom views. Okay, how can we create, views in the way we would actually want to, with certain functionalities that we would prefer. Yeah, so that's basically what we're going to be looking at today. Yeah, so we'll just get straight into it. So if you're actually coding with me, you can just create an application, create a project. You can name it anything. I have named mine custom view, so you can actually just do that, and then we can actually start. So basically, what you get to learn in today's class is how to extend a view. Okay, you also learn how you can actually draw a custom view. So we're going to just basically build more like a remote control application. Okay, that's basically what we'll get to build. We use that to understand how we can actually extend views, how we can build our own custom view. Okay, how we can actually use listeners to handle certain user interaction, and then of course how to use that custom view in a layout. Yeah, so those are the things that we are actually going to be looking at today. Okay, so let's just kickstart what we want to do. But as an introduction, okay, of course I'd expect you to know this. Your view is actually is a class. Okay, a view is a class, and Android offers subclasses of views. Just like you have buttons, you have text view, you have the edit text, you have the image view, and the likes. Yeah, so those are subclasses of the view class. Okay, so you can actually use this to construct a UI that enables user interaction. Okay, so let's actually just move ahead. So, but if you want to create a custom view, all you just have to do is to extend the view. Okay, all you have to do is to just extend that view. So probably if you want to create a custom button or a custom edit text or whatever, just extend that view. So let's just go straight and do that. Okay, so but you can actually just take this down. Okay, when you want to create a custom view, there are general steps to actually take when creating a custom view. There are general steps to take. One of those steps, the very first step is to extend the view class. That's the very first step. Extend the view class. Yes. And then the second thing is to, if you extend an existing view, okay, you need to override only the behavior, okay, the behavior or the aspects of the appearance that you want to change. So if you want to change just the particular behavior, you don't need to override every aspect, but just that particular one. Okay. Okay, yeah, so let's continue. So the third thing is, if you extend the view, okay, you have to draw the custom view's shape and then control its appearance. And you do that by overriding the two view methods. The first one is the onDraw, and then the second one is the onMeasure. Okay, we'll get to actually apply this stuff. The fourth step is to add a code to respond to the user interaction. Okay, and then the last thing is to use the custom view class as a widget in your activities XML layout. Okay, so let's go into building stuff. Okay, so first things first. Your activity main.xml. So open that up. I want to give some of those shortcuts, so you can just highlight and do a Control B, and then that takes you to that. Okay, so let's build let's start building an application. Okay, so what we're going to do first is to create an app that has an image view as a temporary placeholder for our custom view. Okay, and then we'll now extend the view to create that custom view, and then we'll then initialize the custom view with the drawing and painting values. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to actually what do. So let's do this. So I'm going to add an image view. Okay, just going to take this out. So let me add an image view here. Okay, so for a height, let me just say 200 dp, 200 dp. Okay, of course, you need to give it an ID. So I'm going to give it an ID of, let's call it dial. Okay. And then, so let's see, for a background, let's see if we have, okay. Let's see what color we have. Okay, let's try. Okay, let's just try this. Let's just use that. We may adjust that later. Okay, so I want to give let's give a left margin of, let's say 8 dp, and then a right margin of, let's also say 8 dp. Okay. So since we're using a constraint layout, so I'm going to constrain, okay. So let's do this. I'm going to constrain the left to the left of the parent, and then the right to the right of the parent, okay. So I want to add, a text here. Okay, so for the text view, let's just, so let it just wrap the content. Then let's give it an ID. So we say we're creating so I'm going to call it label. And then, so let's see. Let's give it a padding of, let's say 16 dp. And then, of course, so let's give it the basic constraints. Okay, let's give it the basic. But before that, let me give it a text so we get to. So I'm going to call it control. Okay, yeah. So now I can actually see that. So I'm going to let it right to the right of the parent, start, and then of course to the top. So now I want the placeholder to be at the bottom of. Okay, yeah, so that actually is better. Okay, so okay, say text color black. Okay, then okay. Okay, so let's move on. So let's see what else. What else can we actually do here? Let's see if I can add some few things. Text appearance. Let's see display. Let's see how it displayed to. Okay, let's just use this. Let's just use this. Not really trying to. Okay, so let's use that. Okay, so let's give it a top margin. Give it a top margin of let's say 30 dp. Okay, yeah, I think that's actually fine. You can give an end of probably 8 dp and the start of another 8 dp. Okay, so so I think this is actually fine. Yeah, this is okay. This is okay. It's just for us to, get to the so for this, let me give a top margin of let's say 10 dp. Yeah, of course, start margin of say 8, and then an end margin of 8 dp. Okay, yeah. So this is the place what holder. So of course, and then very important for us to extract string resource for each of them. Okay. Okay, so I think we're good to go. Let me confirm. Okay, yes. So we have our place what holder. So now the next thing we're going to do is to create the custom view class. Okay, we're going to create the custom what view what class. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click on this and then I'm going to say new Kotlin class and I'm going to call it I'm going to call it the DAO view. I'm going to call it that. Okay, so now what we're going to now what to do is to extend. Okay, now but what we'll do is this: we're going to modify this class to extend the view. We'll modify this class to extend what the view. Okay, so but this is what we are going to do. So of course, basically just this. Okay, and then we can pass in some parameters that are needed, which is the context. Okay, now, but to pass in this, let me show you something. We don't actually have a context. So what I'm going to do is my custom view, okay, will now have some parameters. So I'm going to create a context, okay, and context, okay, and then I'm going to create some an attribute, let's say, an attribute property, okay, and this is going to take from the attributes class, attribute set class, attribute sets, yes, okay, and then just this is going to be equal to null first, and then that's fine, and then the last thing is going to be what we'll call the dev style of attribute. So let's say dev style, okay, and we're going to give this an initial value of 0. So this is of type int. Okay, so now we can now pass in the context which it needs. So we can just pass in all three of these stuff that we have actually was created. So yes, that's okay. So I've just created a custom what class. Okay, so so we're gonna do something just above this class definition, okay, just above it. I'm going to create an enum, okay. I want to believe you know what an enum is. Basically, so we can represent the available. Now, we're creating this is going to be a remote control for a fan, okay. So we want to create the available fan speeds, okay. So this is going to be of enum data type. So just above this, I'm going to say private, okay, enum class. Okay, if at any point you have a question, just ask and I'll do well to answer that. Okay, I'm going to create an enum class. I'm going to call it fan speed. Okay, so this is going to take a property of label, this one, and that label will be of an integer or data type. Okay, so in our enum class, we're going to have these are the properties we're going to have. We're going to have the off, and we're going to create some string. I'm going to create some string values. So I'm going to create some string values. Yeah, I'm going to create these values. And let me just quickly duplicate this. I think I'll add one more. So this is for off, and then we have for low. And then we have for medium. And then we have for high. Okay, so for this, I'm going to say low. I'm going to say medium. I'm going to say high. Okay. Okay, so we've basically just created what's enum. Okay, I've created an enum class, and this has the various fan speeds. Okay, so we have the off, we have the low, we have the high. So now what I can do is just going to create this. I can create the string resource value. So for the fan to be off, I can say 0. For it to be low, I can say 1. For it to be high, I can say 2. Then for it to, sorry, medium, and then for it to be high, I can say a 3. Okay, so we're going to add some constants, and we'll use these constants, okay, as part of our drawing, to draw the dial indicators and labels. So what I mean is, let me just create that. I'm going to have a private const, val. I'm going to call, and then we'll have a radius offset label. Okay, and then I'm going to give this a value of 30. And then, okay, I think I can just duplicate this, and then this is going to be radius offset, and I'm going to, this is just going to be the indicator, and then let's give it a value of, let's say 35. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to go inside the dial. This is our dial view class. Okay, I think I can just quickly rename it, just shift F6, and then okay, sorry about that, shift F6. Okay, I think we're good to go. Yeah, that's fine. That's just that out. Okay, so inside our dial view class, okay, I'm going to define several variables. Okay, these variables, we're going to need it to draw our custom view. Okay, we're going to need it to draw our custom view. So some of these variables. Okay, so let's go ahead to create these variables. Let's go ahead to create these variables. Okay, so the first variable I'm going to create is the radius. So I'm going to create the radius, and I'm going to give it private var radius. Okay, and I'm going to give it a value of 0.0f. Okay, and then I'm going to create a variable, the fan speed. Private var fan speed. Okay, and then this fan speed. Now, for the fan speed, I'm going to call my enum, enum class, okay, which is the fan speed, okay, and then I'm going to assign the off to it, fan speed dot off to it, okay. Okay, and then so one last property variable, so I'm going to say private. So this is going to be a val because it won't change. That's a point position. Okay, and then this is going to be of what we call point F. Okay, that's the interactivity type, and then we're going to have points F, and then I'm going to pass in 0.0F. This is fine. Okay, so basically, this our radius is going to be, this is basically going to be the radius of the circle. Of course, our remote stuff. Okay, it's going to be rounded. So the radius is going to be the radius of the circle. Now, this fan speed variable is going to represent the active selection. Okay, if you've actually selected on and off or low or medium or probably was high. Now, this position variable, okay, basically it's just a variable that will be used to draw the label and the indicator's circle position. Okay, so the radius is the current radius of the circle, and this, of course, you can see this value is set when the view is drawn on the screen. That's when the value is set. The fan speed, once again, is the current speed of the fan, which is one of the values we actually created in our enumeration. Okay, so by default, the default is off, and then the point position. Okay, the point position is kind of like an X and Y point, and it's used to draw several of the views elements on the screen. So we'll get to actually see all these things. So these values are basically created and initialized here, okay, instead of when the view is actually drawn. And the reason we're doing that is so we can ensure the actual drawing step runs as fast as possible. So we do not want to draw it when the view has been drawn. No, we are creating it and we are initializing it, okay, even before the view is actually what's drawn, so that it actually runs faster. Okay, so now next thing we're going to do inside of our DAO view class, okay, is to initialize what we call a paint object. Okay, this paint object, we're going to, we initialize it. Okay, there are some basic styles used for paint. Okay, so we're going to initialize that. So this is it. I'm going to create a variable called private. I'm going to call it paint. And I'm going to call the paint class. So of course, yes, we have. And then I'm going to, so it takes, I'm going to say paint dot, and then there's this property anti-alias flag. Okay, and then let's say dot apply. So we want to apply some styles now. So for this style, okay, we're going to let the style is going to be paint dot style dot fill. Okay, we want to fill, want to use the fill style. Okay, we want to fill everything. So for the text align, okay, so we want to align the text paint dot, we have dot align, and then of course center it. For the text size, we can actually just use this. And then for the typeface, okay, so typeface, so I'm going to use type, so the typeface dot create, dot create, so we're going to create one then. So for the family, the family name, okay, we're just going to leave that empty for now, but we're going to use the style to be bold. Yeah. Okay, so this is the style we're actually we are initializing this, and of course we are doing it now to help speed up the drawing step. Okay, now, so let's do this. Let's move on. So let's go straight into drawing these custom views now. Okay, now of course, so when you create a custom view, which is what we have done, we need to be able to draw it. We need to be able to draw it. Now, when you extend a view, subclass, for example, an edit text, okay? Now that subclass, the edit text, it defines the view's appearance and attributes and draws itself on the screen. So basically, you don't have to write code to draw the view. You can override methods of the parent to customize your view instead. So that's why if you have the edit text, is from the view. So is a subclass of the view superclass. Okay, so you don't actually have to write code to draw your edit text. You just have to override the methods of the view class, okay, to customize the edit text in a way you actually want. So if you're creating your own view from scratch by extending the view, okay, you are now responsible for drawing the entire view every time the screen refreshes. Okay, if you're creating your own view from scratch by extending the view class, you are responsible for drawing the entire view for every time the screen will refresh, and for overriding the view methods that handle drawing. So in order to properly draw a custom view that extends the view class, okay, you need to first of all calculate the view size when it first appears. That's the very first thing you need to do. You need to first of all calculate the view size when it first appears. And each time that view size changes, so when it appears and whenever it changes, you need to be able to calculate the size. And you do that by overriding a method called the unsize changed method. Yes, unsize changed method. The second thing you need to do is to override the undraw method, okay, to actually draw the custom view. And we actually use a canvas object, styled by a paint object who actually implement these things. And then, of course, the third thing, you need to call the invalidate method when responding to user click that changes how the view is drawn to invalidate the entire view, which will actually just force a call to undraw, that is to redraw the view again. So that means basically what I'm saying is probably I've drawn the view the first time. So I also need to call this invalidates when the user clicks on, when there's a user click that kind of changes how the view is being drawn. So that what will it do? It will invalidate that entire view and then force the undraw method to redraw the view. Okay. Now, so this undraw method, which we're going to be using, okay, is called every time the screen refreshes. Every time the screen refreshes, the undraw method is actually what's called. And of course, this can happen a lot of times in a second. Okay. But for performance reasons and to avoid, some visual glitches, you should try as much as possible to do as little work as possible in your undraw, as little as possible. So basically, in particular, what I'm saying is don't place allocations in undraw, because basically when you're placing some allocations may lead to some garbage collection that will definitely cause your visual to, kind of just, drag or stutter or something. Okay. Now, so let's talk about the canvas and the paint classes, okay, which we're actually going to be using to draw our view. Okay. Now, this canvas and paint classes, they actually offer some useful drawing shortcuts. Now, for example, so you can draw a text using the draw text method. You can specify the typeface by calling set typeface. You can, of course, the color, you can actually just call set color. These are shortcuts. So you can draw primitive shapes using, a draw rect method, which is actually called the draw rectangle. You have the draw oval, you have the draw arc. So sorry, just hold on. Excuse me, please.
I think it's better now.
Okay, yes, yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, we're talking about drawing primitive shapes. Okay, draw rect, draw oval, draw arc. So these are changes you can actually, shortcuts you can use. Now you can change you can actually change whether the shapes are filled, outlined, or both by calling what we call the set style method. Okay, and then of course you can draw bitmaps using the draw bitmap method. Okay, so we'll talk about canvas and paint more actually so let's actually go straight into drawing this. Okay, so to draw the custom view, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so let's override the unsize changed. Okay, so just below this, so let's do this just below all this. I'm going to override the onSize change. Okay, so this onSize change method is called anytime the view's size changes, including the very first time it is actually drawn, when your layout is inflated. Okay, so let's see, onSize changed. Yeah, so you can actually see that. So it takes in the width, WH, width, height, old width, old height. So the old one, which is the preferred, when it's drawing a new one. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to set the radius. Okay, we're going to set our radius to be, so have the minimum of the width. So I'm just going to reduce our width and our height. Okay, divided by, let's say, we'll use 2.0 times 0.8. Okay, so, and then we'll have to convert this to floats. Okay, yeah, we have to convert it to float because our radius here actually uses, it's a float data type. Okay, so this is how we're going to calculate our radius. So the minimum of it gets the minimum of the width, between the width and the height. Okay, and then we divide that by the product of 2.0 times what 0.8. Okay, so let me just say this. So and then below that, so let's do this. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a function. Okay, we're going to create a function called so let me just create this. So it's going to be a private function. So I'm going to say compute, call it compute. So let's go compute xy for speed. So compute the x and the y, for the speed. And then we're going to pass in a position. Okay, so, but it's going to be a helper function. So let's just do something. So let me call it point, sorry. So let me call the points F class, okay. Okay, so let's get the position, and then of course this is going to be of the fan speed. The type is going to be of type fan speed. Okay, and then our radius, let's call our, add our radius as a parameter also. It's going to be of type float. Okay, so want to do something. So val, I'm going to call it is the start angle. Okay, start angle. And the start angle, so say maths.p, so maths.pi. Okay, so as pi multiplied by, so let's do a 9 or 8.0. Okay, and then I'm going to create another one, the angle. Okay, I know this is some calculations that you may like assume what's going on, but don't worry, just flow with me. And then we'll add, okay, so I'm going to get a position dot this what I'll call ordinal. Okay, then we'll call up a pi again, comes in. Okay, and then let's divide that by 4. Okay, so that's for the that's to calculate the angle. And then to calculate x, for x, okay, we're basically going to have radius multiplied by, like I said, you're going to see some math stuff, so don't worry about it. So the cosine of our angle, so just do this quickly. Yeah, to get the width. Okay, and then I'm just going to duplicate that, but this is going to be for to calculate the y, and then we're going to use a sine instead, and then get the height. Yeah, imports. Okay, let's get that there. Okay, so basically this extension function, okay, it just calculates our x and y coordinates on our screen, okay, on the screen for the text, for that our text label, and then for our indicator, that's our indicator, which is this our enum 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So where would they be placed at every point? So that's what we're basically getting to what calculate. So it's going to calculate the x and the y coordinates on the screen for the text label, and also course indicator. Okay, given the current fan speed position, and then the radius. So we'll actually use this stuff we have created in our on draw. So finally, let's now use the onDraw that we have been talking about. So I'm going to override the onDraw. Okay, yeah, the one with the canvas, copy that canvas. So we're we're basically overriding this method, and we're doing this to render the view on the screen. Okay, so we're using this method to render the view on the screen with the canvas and paint classes. Okay, so inside this onDraw, I'm going to now set the paint color. Okay, so let me say paint.color. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to say, so based on the color, if our fan speed, okay, if our fan speed is actually off, if our fan speed is off, okay, what do I want to do if it is off? I want the color to be gray. Else, if it is not, I want the color to be, let's say, green. Yeah, green. Okay, so yes, so that's basically that. So and this, what we are basically doing now, the next thing we're going to do is to draw a circle. Okay, we want to draw a circle for the dial, and we're going to use the draw circle method. And what this method, it uses the current view width, that's the width of the current view, and the height to find the center of the circle. Okay, to find the center of the circle, the radius of the circle, and the current paint color. So the width and height properties, of course, they are members of the view superclass. So this is what I'm just going to do. So I'm going to use the canvas property. So we're going to have, I'm going to say canvas.draw circle, draw circle. Okay, and then in that, we're going to now have our width. Okay, so it gets the width and then divide that by 2. Okay, and then of course we'll have to convert that to a float. Have to convert that to a float. Yeah, so okay, so yeah, so that. And then the next thing we're going to the height. So we'll get the height. And then divide that also by 2 and convert it to a float. Okay, and then that's that. So the next thing we need is the radius and the paint. So just going to take those 2. Okay, so to cover that. Okay, so yeah, we have, so we need to add, yeah, null safety. Okay, so we're good to go. Yes. So so what the last thing we're going to do, well, not really the last, so we need to draw a smaller circle for the fan speed indicator mark. You know, when on your fan where you have 1, there's a small circle that kind of indicates that that is 1, a circle for 2 and the like. So that's fan speed indicator mark. Oh, we need to draw a smaller one. So we'll use the draw circle also method. Okay, so but this is how we're going to actually do it. So I'm going to create. So first of all, okay, I'm going to create. I'm going to create a method. Let's create a variable first. I'm going to call this marker. Okay, and then is going to be, I'm going to call the radius. Let's say our radius, and then plus the radius. Okay. So we have radius offset indicator, okay, that we actually what created. Yes. Okay, so the next thing, so got our point position that we created in the DAO view class. So our point position, and then we'll use it to call the compute X, for speed method. Okay, use it to call that helper function. And then what are we going to pass? It requires a fan speed, and it requires the radius of which we're using the marker that we just created. Okay, and then okay, let's take out one of this. Okay, and then for the paint, we want to get the paint the color. And we're going to use a color black for that marker. Okay, let's use a black color for the marker. So we'll use the canvas now, and then we'll say dot. So let's draw the circle. Canvas dot. Going to call the draw circle method. Okay, so this requires our X, our Y, our radius, and our paint. Okay, so for the X, we're going to say point position dot X. Okay, and then for the Y, we're going to say the point position dot Y. And then I'm going to now say the radius. For the radius, it's going to be radius, and then let's divide it by 12, and then pass in the paint. Okay, so I think, okay, for null safety, yeah, that's actually good. So the last thing we'll do is to draw the fan speed labels. That's 0, 1, 2, 3 at the appropriate positions around that our dial. Okay. So this part, okay, for this part, we're actually going to call the point f dot complete xy for speed method again. And we're using that to get the position for each of these labels. And then we'll reuse that position object every time to avoid so allocations. So we're going to use the draw text label to actually do this. So before doing that, I'm going to create a variable called label. Okay, and for the label is going to have so radius plus the radius offset label, the var constants that we created. Okay, and then of course I'm going to, so this is what, so we're going to do a condition here. I'm going to say for I, okay, so for I in fan speed, okay, that's, so yeah, in our fan speed values, okay, in our fan speed values. So for I, so this will just iterate through that, okay. So what should it do? We're going to get the point position, okay, we'll call the helper function dot compute xy for speed. Okay, and then what are we going to pass? It needs the speed. So we're going to pass in I, okay, because it's iterated. That's what we're using to iterate. And then we're going to pass in the label radius, okay, which is just label. Okay, so I think I need to take out one of these. Okay. And then, okay, so let's do this. I need to create another, so label, so let me say the label text, okay, that's the text of the label. Do we have one? So let me just say, well, we're going to create one. So sources.get string, we're going to create one, and then I'm going to say the I, okay, which is the fan speed dot the label. Okay, so this will just basically gets that particular string label from our resources. Okay, so this label, of course, is from this. So this will just iterate to get each of these strings. So if it's a one, if it's off, then 1, low, 2, and the likes. Okay, and then of course, finally, once we are done, we now draw. We draw the text. So I'm going to say canvas. Okay, so since we're going to use that, so let me just do it quickly. Dot draw text. Okay, and then it needs a text, so we're going to pass in the label text. Okay, so okay, sorry, I wasn't supposed to, this was supposed to come out. Okay, oh, sorry. Yeah, so this is supposed to be inside of here. Yeah, good. Okay, so passing the label text. Okay, and then of course the position for the X. So point position dot X, point position dot Y for the Y axis, and then finally the paint. Okay, so this is what our onDraw method looks like. Okay, this is what it actually looks like. So what we'll now do is to add the view, add this custom view to our layout. Okay, so I think we have an error somewhere. We have somewhere that's actually showing a red, so we need to figure out where that is. Quickly, let's see. Who has seen it before me? We have a red somewhere. So who has seen it before me? Okay. Okay, so here, so if the fan speed is this, else color the green, yeah, we do not need this. Yeah, we do not need this. Okay, so the next thing is to create what? Let's add the view to the layout. So to add a custom view to your app's your app's UI, you need to specify it as an element in your XML layout. Okay. Now you can control its appearance and behavior with your XML element attributes, just like you would do for any other thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my, activity main.xml. So I'm going to change this my image view tag now to my dial. Okay. Okay, so we have this. So this is what I'll change it to. Okay. Now let's take out, I think we had a background, so let's take this out. Let's take out the background. Because both these are custom dial view and the image view we actually took out. They both inherit the normal standard attributes of the view class. So there's no need to change any of these other attributes. Okay, so that's why we're leaving it that way. So let's see what this will give us. Okay, so I think I need to use my emulator. So let's see what this will actually give us. Please confirm you can see my emulator. You can either just unmute or give me a thumbs up. Can you see my emulator?
No, I can't see it.
Okay, so I think I need to share that. Okay, so let me share. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, I think we have something to fix. So let's check our logcat, then see. Okay, so this is where debugging comes in. Binary file, error inflating. Okay. Okay, so we have to fix something. Okay, so let's see. So we have our custom view, view. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's see how to fix this. I think we have a bit of a bug here. So let's confirm this. Okay. I think I'm going to just close and start. Okay. Okay, so we are seeing that we have, Okay, custom view, and then so banner line 34. Okay, error inflating this, so cost by, okay, 34, 34 again. Okay, so we are being moved to line 34. Okay, line 34. Okay, okay. So line 34 is basically just the constraints layout, this part, but I think of course it's basically just speaking about the whole class. So let's see. Okay. So that view, we confirm everything is in place. Okay, custom view. That view. Okay. Top to bottom start. Okay. So I think we have a bug somewhere that we need to quickly fix. So let's see. Okay, so this I think okay, let me see something. Okay, so I think I missed out something, I guess. So we need to add a constructor, okay? Yeah. And an annotation. Okay, so basically this annotation is just what instructs Kotlin compiler to generate some overloads. Okay. So I think let's see. Okay. So let me rebuild this. Okay. Let's just do a clean and let's just do a quick rebuild before we actually run it. Okay. So basically, we're actually adding these view constructors using that overload. Okay, like I said, the reason is because at Jvm Overloads. Okay, it instructs Kotlin, the content compiler, to generate some overloads for this particular function that will substitute, some default parameters. So I think that's done. Let's test that out and hope. Yeah, let's see if that solves the problem. Let's see if that solves the problem. Okay, yeah, so this is what we have. Yes, this is what we have. So we have this more like a remote kind of, controller. So you can see all our enum 0, 1, 2, 3, and you can see our pointer. Okay, so of course, some of our calculations are kind of a bit off. Maybe that's why we're having the pointer not as it's not really well placed. So we can actually do something about that. And then, okay, let me do something. First of all, let's fan off be off. Okay. And then let's see. So for that, the smaller circle, for the smaller circle, let's see. What do we have? What can we do? What can we do? Let's see. So we have, okay. So, okay, color black. And then we are dividing that by 12. Okay. Okay, so I kind of like to try out things. So what if, what if we divide this by 8? What would happen? I like to try out things. So let's see what we would have here. Okay, so that actually makes it bigger. So I want to, let's even go by a 14 to make it a bit smaller. And then for the positioning, I think I need to check our positioning. Need to check our positioning. 0.0, 0.0. Okay, so what do we have? Okay, so it's a bit smaller now. So one thing I want to check in our computer speed, okay? Okay, before, well, this is basically, this actually just shows that you can draw stuff. So it's just to manipulate some of these figures to, kind of get what we actually want. So, but I wouldn't really want to drag this class, okay? I don't want to drag the class. We have to round up very soon. Yeah, there's another class that needs to start up in earnest. Okay, so basically that is actually how you can create your own custom view. So I think I'll just give it to you guys to work on. And how can you, one of the things I want you to do is, I need this circle, okay, this circle to, come, somewhere here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, my cursor, to actually come here, somewhere here to actually stay. So I think we'll round it up here. In the next class, we're going to actually add interactivity. Yeah, we're going to add some interactivity to, to this. Okay, how can I, enable this my custom view to perform some actions? Okay, like for example, when I tap on it, okay, if I tap on it the first time, let this indicator, probably go to 1, and then also probably let the color change. If I tap on the next one, if I tap on it again, let it go to 2, probably let the color change also. If I tap on the third one, let it go to 3 and also let the color change. So those kind of interactions, okay, we're actually going to look at it in the next class. Okay, we're going to look at it in the next class. But before then, as part of what you need to do to make sure we kick off in the next class, I want you to figure out how can we take this indicator and bring it down to somewhere here. Okay, let it not be outside of this circle. Okay, let it not be outside of the circle. How can we bring that here? Okay, so that's going to be a take home for you. Before we kickstart the class on Friday, yeah, I would want everybody to actually show me their screen. You can actually just join with your phone or your laptop, of course, and then run it, and then I get to see it. Okay, so any question?
Okay, so for me, I think the question will come when we get to review all this, because it's somehow we really need to look at it.
Yes, I understand. There are a lot of mathematics inside and some new stuff inside. Yes, I understand. Okay, so that's fine. When you're done, okay, of course, if you have any question, you can just reach out to me on the channel and then we'll talk more about it. Okay, so I have a class by 7 that I need to also prepare for. Okay, but it was nice having you guys. So I want to believe, yeah, okay, let's just leave it at that. Okay, so thank you very much.